Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.
So welcome back. We just review quickly what did we do on the last session. So basically we are going through a cycle called document, distill, validate, and communicate. The idea here is we explore our authority, and from the exploration we can document, and then we can distill around pain point, around benefits, and now we are going to explain this tool, which basically an internally developed tool which help you explore more. So you need to position yourself in a mode where you say, okay, what pain should I help people to solve? Why would they come to me? And why would they pay me? These are the three questions. And we understand now the pain points are around different quadrants. So you can articulate the pain point, but you have to make sure you touch around these four quadrants. So the tool is very straightforward. The tool should get you into a memorization exercise where we come and say, if I want to know what did I do between 2018, 17, 16, 15. Okay? So can you come and tell me what did you do relevant to your experience in this year? Or if you are looking for establishing a business outside your experience, like switching your career somewhere else, can you say what did you do through these 4 years? So the tool is very straightforward. If you have 4 years, you can split them into 4 branches. So I would like to know, what did you do on 18, 17, 16, and 15? And then at this point I will stop and say, can you split them into 4 quarters? Do you know quarters, or do you want to know months? Mariana, are you okay with quarters, or do you want to do months?
Quarters okay.
Quarters okay? So you can say Q1, which is January to March, Q2, Q3, Q4. And then you need to write 4 things per quarter that you did relevant to your life, relevant to your business. Does this make sense? Why do you smile?
Just to get the memory all the way down by quarter. I mean, for the entire year, yes, but it's like Q1, Q2, Q3.
We can go in deep, like one-on-one sessions. We go as follows. We go week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and this will be January.
January
Whatever year.
2015?
And then, no, January of whatever year.
So for every year.
And then we can go here February, we can go here, like we go up to a week resolution. We do this exercise if you want to understand what did you do in your previous life. Because if you know what did you do in your previous life, you can come here and say, you know what, I went to travel all over the world, and I can be a world traveler associate or world traveler promoter, because I went through 20 some years to so many. So if you cannot say what did you do on every quarter relevant to your current business, because we have a different point now. We said about we have a pain point, that's right?
Right.
So if you cannot say what did you do every year, and you cannot articulate them, how we will know that you actually have a proven experience. So let me review the exercise, and we're only doing the black here. We don't do the. We go up to 64 years of people's life with this exercise.
No, by year is good. It's just by week or quarter. But,
Why? How long is your projects in your business?
I need to be, I've been 17 years.
It doesn't matter. This exercise, we are not doing it in a full here. Here we just scratch the surface. This
Right.
exercise will take about 3 months to complete. That's right.
Yeah,
If you are not, if you need it,
Yeah.
okay. So, for example, like somebody who's doing service right now, how many in these quarters? How many customers did you get each quarter? Do you have a remarkable customer who you did this service for him? Okay, so let me just, and this is will go with the page 7. So if you are on page 7, this is what we can do. So what we are looking for is the wow factor, the pain point you were able to solve to your customer or your ideal client, so you can have a very strong list of different pain points that you solved. Okay, so to do this, we have the first step is the exploration step, which is basically it's a quad tree, and now on the quad tree on page 17, you can do it as 4 years. Okay.
Okay.
You can do it as brown would be per week. I don't just we will follow one, but let me just before you write down, I can explain something else. I can do it, and I can say this is 18, 17, 16, 15, and then I will have 16 years. So this could be between 18 to 2003. Which is equivalent to 16 years. I can also do it for 1 year. I can do it only for 2018 here. So this will be Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. It doesn't matter what kind of resolutions you need. And that's why we have this here. That's why we have this here. So you can basically write down. And I will go through the whole, so don't flip the pages, I will go through the whole workbook, because each one has a different angle to it. So we go on page 7. Do you like to do the 4 years?
I guess you need to clarify what's the purpose of the exercise.
The purposes for the exercise is to be able to illustrate a list.
So I can put down 4 years of me and my business as April Tax Solutions.
Yes.
Or I could take it back 8 years to my start in the tax industry.
It doesn't
Or I
matter.
could take it back 12 years to how my engineering and my military experience also rolls into it. So, I mean, how do I know where to put the definition? Because if I go military, then I'm talking about discipline.
Yeah, but we will
organizational
start
skills.
somewhere. We will start somewhere, and that's why we have so many forms of this tree.
Okay.
So we will start somewhere. So I see somebody is complaining about having it per quarter. I would tell you we had it for somebody bare weeks and days. Okay. By the way, if you plan at any time in your life to apply for Canadian citizenship, you will need such a thing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well,
You will need
how
such-
far you get back in time?
No, I will ask you since 18 years old, which countries have you been in for more than 6 months? And you need to get dates, which is verified by passport stamps. And you will do the same thing when you do old age security. That's right. When you file old age security at 64 years old, they will ask you the same question. They will ask you, can you tell us where have you been since 18 years old, which countries by date entry and date exit?
Or if you apply for a security clearance.
Security clearance is a different story, but
No, I mean, with the military, I had to do that. I had to identify where I'd been. And
my point is, security clearance is a special class of people, but normal people who will age as 64 years old, normal people who will come as immigrant and they want to apply for citizenship, this is our normal people, are not special class of security. Like everybody living in Canada will age at a certain point to 64 years old, that's right? So yes, you need this kind of information. The purpose here is, if I want to hunt for clients, can you tell me what pain points these clients should suffer and how you can help them? So you have to list to me, these are the profile of the businesses I helped, or the operation I helped, or the situation I have been in. So in year so and so, in quarter so and so, they achieved that much. When you said you helped them 18% market share, when this exactly happened and what was the profile?
They're asking me.
This is just some question. I'm not asking you, just this is just general questions.
Yeah, that was between 2009 2011.
So it's outside this region.
Yeah.
So we need to go back. So what else happens there? When you do this exploration, quite often you will come up with some aha, as they call it aha moment. Quite often you will come up with some activities you did, which is never, you didn't stop at it, because it basically for you was just common sense. Okay? This is an exploration stage. This is not, there is no right answer, there is no wrong answer.
But how far we go back in time?
As far as you can create a wow factor. So on the business, we have been, me and him have been bold with the companies, they want to do business with us. So with the business we have been bold in, this is what needs to happen. Like if you want to come and start a new establishment,
Right.
what are the expertise relevant to the establishment among each one of us?
Right.
Because the new business cannot come and say, yeah, we are just a new service company. So what kind of service we do?
Right.
And if this service needed in the market or not. Make sense?
No, I get your point. So if, for example, if I refer to this market share and that happened about 8 or 9 years ago, this is should be the spectrum to cover, not only the last 4 years, but got to be the 8 years.
And what I'm doing in the still stages, we are doing it in a different way. And all of them at the end should mesh up to specific 5 questions, which will come at the end. So the first exercise we did was what? Just tell us who you are, document. The next one, let's explore what are the pain points of a typical customer or a typical client or a typical employer, a typical somebody who will pay you money, doesn't matter what's the relationship.
Yep.
You can solve, that's right. The next step will be what kind of benefits and solutions did you provide to these pain points? Do you agree that when you had the benefits, you start to see and realize that you provided benefits that you did not disclose before in your CV or your website or your bio or about your company? Do you agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay. People who are doing this exercise in a different events with me, they always say, yeah, you know what? We have now more clarity and we can understand now how we can better position ourselves, because now we are going to fine-tune what we have been discovering in the workshop before.
Right.
That's why I'm saying, like, this work material, you should always have it in your mind, like, I want to help somebody and I don't know who I can help, but I need to make money. So who can I present myself and my knowledge to, and what pain point I can help them with? It will come from here. Okay? So if somebody on sabbatical or on parental leave, it doesn't matter. What did you do on the sabbatical? What did you do on the parental leave? How many organizations did you volunteer for? How many soccer tournament you went with your kids? How? Because some of us may want to be life coaches. Like Marcel is an engineer, but he wants to be life coach. So if we want to say, how can I be a life coach? How do you know what kind of relationship you can maintain? Okay, so don't write on any other page. We are now on page 7. The other pages will have different angles to it. Okay, so here, can you go and just say every quarter we will go with the black write up every quarter what kind of pain did you solve, and can you articulate at least one pain did you solve on each quarter to someone. So what are the pain related now? What are the triggers for the pain? What are the pain triggers now? You know what? What's the type of pain? Like, what are the 4 types of pain you could solve for your customer? There is money pain or value pain. There is time pain or urgency pain. There is a process pain, and there is a relationship pain. That's right. So that's why we have this one here as 4 segments. So if you label the quad tree as what we label it here in black, can you start to brainstorm on this particular quarter? I know for you 2018 is out because you have been paid and sitting home for 2 quarters. So that's good. So you don't have to write here. So the question for you is, what other problems did you solve through these 2 quarters?
Right.
Does this problem need to be for customer? It may be for a friend customer. It may be for a friend. It's maybe for somebody you visit. It may be for a community. It doesn't matter. What matters is, can you get your mind back into this time and say, what did you solve, or what kind of pain points you were able to work with? Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? Make sense?
No, it doesn't make sense.
Okay. So here,
So I don't know. I can't even think of an event. The only thing I can think of is that I launched a book in June of 2015.
okay, so right in 2015, in June 2015, I launched a book.
Well, which quadrant do I put it in?
When did you launch the book?
June.
June, so this will be quarter 2.
Yeah, but I mean,
So what this book solve as a pain?
effective partnering.
Okay, so just write down, I launched a book and it solved effective partnering.
But you said this column is for dollars, this is for time, this is for process, this is for relationship.
So effective partner will be with relationship, that's right? Or it will be with process.
It could be both.
It could be both, so just write down whatever you can. You don't need to have the full tree. The full tree cannot be filled in fill. Like, this is just an ideas to think about. This is not, you cannot fill everywhere. Like here in this exercise.
So do I put it across both blanks then?
Yeah, you can put it across of both lines. So at least you know you are an author
Yeah.
of a book in 2016, sorry. What else happened in your life? What else happened in your life, Yasser?
So I get your point, but can I change it to 8 years and instead of quarter to have it like H1, H2, H1, H2 for every year? Like 6 months instead of quarters?
For the sake of the exercise, no, but for the reality of the things,
Yeah,
you can do whatever, and that's why
Right.
we have these extra sheets. So you can have one extra sheet, you can have one extra sheet. So you can have this extra, you guys can pass one to Maria. We have this extra sheet, so we can tell you, you know what? It doesn't matter.
can go as
The idea here is not to do the exercise in the way it's described. The idea is, the outcome is what? Is I would like to have marquees or specific dates or time frame where you did some wow factor. So if I stand in front of somebody, I say, I authored the book in 2016. So I am a bestseller author in 2016. And my book solved these 2 problems. So when I articulate it in this way, it's better than saying I am a best-selling author. For what? Okay? I worked with 6 clients. Like when I did this work, for me personally, I realized that I worked with more startup companies and the spin-out companies than any other people in town, because I start to now to remember, you know, Robert when he came in and different people. I start actually not to remember their names, but I remember their faces and what the problems they were bringing over, and how I was helping them closing this, and how I was helping some people in Beldex show. Like I presented in so many shows, and I also helped other people to well present and collect lead effectively in so many trade shows. So I start to find out I did like so many things. So one area, for example, is what kind of trade shows did you attend? And what did you learn from them? Where did you went your summer break? Okay? For example, you go back home, no matter who's here from where, each one of us has home. And when you went back home and met with your uncles and your cousins, they may discuss with you some business ideas, and you give them advisement for the, or you help them out somehow. Now, can you call them back and ask them for testimonials? Can you list this type of business in your CV or on your about? So for people who are in a different stages, this tree may play a different role in their life. Okay? So can you start on 2018? 2018 should be simple because we're still in 2018, that's right. So 2018, nobody should have anything like this quarter just started. So what kind of companies did you meet, and what kind of problems did you solve for your customers? So focus on a specific quarter. So let's just do it on quarter 1, January to March. So who is you? And I know you would tell me I can go to my calendar and I can go to my agenda. Yes, if you have the time and the resources to go to your calendar and your agenda and your diary, you go there and extract the information. The exercise is not to examine your memory. The exercise is to get a list of problems did you solve for people during the last 4 years. What type of problem did you solve? And on the back page, you will talk about what kind of solution did you provide. Anybody lost? You can ask me questions.
I'm lost.
Okay. So, okay, you are lost. So
I don't know what problems I solve that I don't do daily, right? So
I'm sure you don't solve the same problem daily. I'm sure of that, because each customer comes to you has a different problem.
yeah, but they're just so matter of fact that I don't know what's worth commenting on.
Just write.
I don't know if it's noteworthy at all. I don't even
Keep writing. Keep writing till you once you start to write to
There's
document.
not a lot of writing space in here either.
It is a starting point. You have more pages, more paper. You can have more pages. You can have more paper to write. So, for example,
And you wanted this one to be about the dollars and this one to be about the
not
time.
necessary. It's just that not necessary. Whatever you feel like it. I'm just giving you some directions. You can follow the direction, or you can basically write. So if you don't care about the quality, the type of the problem, just can you write down 4 problems did you solve, 4 pain points did you solve every quarter to your clients? And if you have more than 4, awesome. Grab a blank sheet
Yeah.
and say quadrant which, and just keep writing.
Four pain points.
Or 4 problems. Or 4 key clients you met and you solve their problems in each quarter. And if you have questions, let me know. I'm more than happy. So Yasser, where are you?
I'm trying to put some sort of
Okay.
the main achievement for every quarter.
You
and
are
then-
too process oriented.
Then I'll try to break it down.
You are
into
you are too process oriented, which is very scary. I usually talk about my. I have a son when he was like 2 years old. He loves pools. So this little one, whenever we go to any of the hotels, some of the Sandman hotels will have just the registration reception is here, and then you have a French door, and the pool will be behind the French door. So while we are at the registration and checking in the hotel, this guy will say pool, and he will run like a bullet, and he will throw himself with his clothes to the middle of the pool. And we had him, we were able to catch him few times. We lost like iPhones, and we lost so many things because this guy does not have any awareness of what can he do. And he is always the example I like to say to talk about people who are process oriented. If you are process oriented, it's great. You cannot build a business on very detailed process. You need just to let it go and just say pool and run and jump and see what will happen. If you start to overthinking it and trying to do like, here is the achievement, because I'm here talking about pain point. The achievement actually will go on the next page. If you try to make it too much process, you will do nothing.
No, I'm trying to find the starting point. You know, it's just I need to start somewhere. and
Where
then
have you
from-
been January 1st, 2018? And what did you do? This is the starting point. Just write down what happened January 18. Let it go. Don't overthinking it as a process.
No, I'm not thinking as a process. Seriously, it's like whatever gets in my
Okay,
mind.
just keep writing. Keep writing.
Yeah, I just write it here at the margins.
Keep writing. Keep writing it. You don't need to write it anywhere. There are so
Yeah.
many papers. I had so many enough printouts.
Because I have to start somewhere. To be
Okay,
honest, it's
start
not
where?
easy.
Start where? Start somewhere.
I can't even remember anything by quarters.
So you may want to go to your agenda and your calendar to see what happened per quarter. That's right.
It's not even in my agenda.
So you don't keep track of your customers. What?
Well, it's in my CRM, but my CRM, I've never pulled anything out by dates of what I've done for clients.
Okay.
I mean, I'd have to go to the clients.
So if we go to 2017, what is the main things you remember on 2017 last year, as a whole year, relevant to customers' pain points?
I got nothing. Seriously, I don't think in those terms. I don't know what to draw upon. I don't think of it as years. I don't even know when it happened. I don't even know what I did. I don't know what you're drawing upon.
So how many customers did you have in 2017?
200.
Does all of them have the same pain point? Does any one of them stick to you? Is there one customer you helped and say, wow, we really saved this guy?
I'm sure there is. I just can't think of it.
Okay, so if you cannot think of it, it's not a remarkable individual. There is no wow factor in the business. So what do you need to remember it? So where did you have the summer event, and where did you spend your summer in 2017? I know 2018, so I don't want to ask about it. I don't know. I don't remember your 2017.
Where did I spend summer in 2017? I went to a wedding in Saskatoon. My cousin's daughter got married.
Okay.
Went to Rock the Lake in Kelowna. That's about it.
Okay. And what did you do in the wedding? Did you stand and give a speech?
Nope.
So what did you do?
Just met all the family I hadn't seen in years.
Okay, that's good. So you attended a family reunion during the wedding. Can you write it down? 2017.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some people will come and say in their bio that they attended they attended 3 family reunion because they want to reflect on their relationship customers that they are family oriented.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you volunteer in any organization in 2017? Will you be part of member of any volunteering organization? Yes, you are a regular member of the CBACA.
Right.
What? You see, I know more about you than you. That's right.
Yeah.
So, can you write down these organizations? So when I come on
but it's a continuous networking event. It's not really.
It doesn't matter. You are a regular member of this continuous networking event.
I hosted a grilling class in my backyard.
Yeah, so you write it down. Why do we write this down, Mike? Because in some of the introductions, we may need this information.
For part of my stories?
For part of your stories, for part of your networking events, for part of... here is Mike, who did 200 customers a year, doing this, and he's a regular member of the CACP or CBACA. He's a regular... CBC is a regular face of. He's a regular member of the Rotary Club.
Yeah.
This is what people say. So this kind of information, nobody can write it about you. You are the one who has to come up with.
Right.
So when you look at where did you spend your time in the last 4 years? So did you get any recognition or award in these 4 years? Did you speak on stages in any of this year? In
This
2017?
Year? Nope.
You did not give any presentation in the
CBCA? Yeah, I gave a presentation CBCA.
So can you write down you gave a presentation in CBC? Which quarter? When somebody comes to me and say, I attended 1,000 networking events, okay, so how did you come up with the number? Because they had it somehow in some format like this.
Yeah.
And then we count the numbers.
Okay.
Do you feel better about this now? Makes sense a little bit?
You want me to tune into different quadrants?
If you do it in a different quadrants, you will get more details. Because now you will find your memory, you try to force yourself to get similar material in different quadrants.
Mm.
If you do it at a 1 year resolution, it's up to you. There is no right answer, there is no wrong answer.
Yeah.
And to just the extent of what Yasser was saying, do you want to have it for 8 years or for 4 years or for 16 years? You know, like for example, Yasser, how many projects did you tackle in all of your career?
I've never counted them, to be honest.
So if you come and say, this gentleman is 22 years experience in specific, and he tackles in his life 100 plus, 75 plus projects in these areas, that this is a wow authority or not?
Yeah.
Are you a multitask who were able to produce in simultaneous projects with different responsibilities? Were you able to manage 6 projects in a specific quarter where they having overlapping time and they were concurrent projects and all of them have been successfully? So if I want to talk about somebody is advising people on time management, would you like to listen to somebody, away from how much are you paying him, okay?
Yeah.
If money is solved and time is solved, if lack of money and lack of time is solved for you, would you prefer to listen to this fellow, or would you prefer to listen to the fellow who says, I am just being fired from my job and I used to do 1, 2, 3? Which one would you like to listen to? I believe the one who is coming and say, I tackled 75 plus projects, I managed 600,000 employees, total in my life, I attended so many committees. This quantitative information are wow factor for people who are looking for the triggers.
It can be done here.
And it cannot be done here. And I'm telling you, I had someone.
So I've got generics like being a member of the BBB, right? But that doesn't fall into any specific quarters.
It doesn't matter. It will be all over the quarters. So write in the margin being member of BBB from so and so. It doesn't matter. The outcome and the end goal of this exercise is what? Is to find wows on your authority. So if we want to develop an expertise or a bio or an about section about you, in video introduction, on book introduction, on material introduction, people will look at you and say, oh, I'm standing out of the crowd. So for me, for example, to give you an example, I taught in 7 universities, and I taught to roughly 2,000 graduate students in these universities in my career. And when I accumulate, everybody came through the certificate program I created overseas. I taught more than 1.2 million people. Have been over 22 years, have been receiving entrepreneurship, education, scientific, science, and life skills from me. Because when you go overseas, the classrooms are 12,000 a year. So if you teach 10 classrooms, you're already 120. That's right?
Yeah.
So there is a difference between somebody who taught in 7 universities over 20 years and somebody who taught in 7 universities and influenced 2,000 graduate students' education. That's right. Which one has the more wow factor? The 2,000 students or the 7 universities? In your opinion, which one will give you more information, more confidence that this guy understand teaching, understand hands-on, understand how to teach people in classrooms? When I say he taught in 7 universities, when I say he taught 2,000 students in graduate schools.
Probably 2,000 students.
That's right. Is this the same guy or not? Yes, it's the same guy. But now these people will say, yeah, you know what? I had some people who came to me and said, I want to know which 22 companies you create in your life. That's why I'm here. This is great. Let's just go through my program and say sign up for the program because they came to know why I have this in my career. So this quantification is very important. How do we know this quantification? By a thought process along this line. We call it divide and conquer. Divide your life into specific time fragment, time sequences, time sections, and let it go. Just write down what happened. I kissed my wife 6 times. I had 2 kids. I married 6, right, whatever. And then step back and say, okay, how these are related. If you find out that these are not related, you understand now that you have gaps or you have not accurate information. So for example, for our good friend Mariana, how many workshops did you do on Psych-K level 1 and Psych-K level 2? How many workshops did you teach?
A year?
In your whole career with Psych-K?
About 120 level 1.
Okay.
And about 20 level 2.
So in total you had about 140 plus workshops that you facilitated, that's right?
Yeah,
Over so many years?
And I used 10 years.
Over 10 years.
And I just became became instructor for master facilitation.
Okay.
And I taught my first one in Belgium.
You see?
I was
So-
the first instructor to teach that workshop in Belgium.
So this is our wow factor. So if I come and say, Mariana here, she facilitated 140 plus psyche and energy healing workshops. And she taught the very first one in Belgium. And she's now welcome here to the stage. Everybody in the room will believe what? Will believe that the one coming in the room is a superior expert.
Right.
Do you understand?
Yeah, got it.
So how do we get into the 140, or how to get into the 120? If she will sit and say, every quarter or every year, these are the courses I taught. The question for you is, how many people attended each one of these courses? So you can come and say, and she helped 1,000 plus attendees to become SIK practitioners. Now, what does this mean? It means that she is good and she knows what she's doing. How do we extract this information? By divide, and then we can conquer the same information. Make sense? If it's relevant for you, can you talk about the volumes or the size of businesses did you help? So if you come and say 200 clients a year, that's right, is awesome. Can you tell me how much cash flow each one of these clients will have, roughly? And can you multiply them by 200? So if each one of them will be $1 million plus,
Right.
or $2 million plus,
Right.
average, 2 million times 200 is $400 million. So I helped 200 customers to manage a total of $400 million cash flow in. And their total saving is whatever percentage. People will come and say, we want to listen to you. How could you do that? But if you have 200 customers and each one cash flow is like $50,000 to $100,000
Cash flows and revenues.
revenues, like
Yeah.
if you have like, so if you come and say 200 customers and we assume for a reason that each one of them will be like $2 million average. This is about $400 million cash revenue businesses. Okay. If you have, so this kind of wow factors, it comes from this quantification. Make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It just needs time. I like the exercise.
But if I have 200 clients that say that average $100,000 a year, right?
Yep.
Is that going to have the same wow to it?
It will have some wow to it in front of small business owners. And if it does not have some wow to it, we don't say it. But now we know that we should not say that. Make sense?
Yeah.
So do you want to spend more time writing it, or how you want to proceed now?
Well, it's popping up like.
Which is good, and the idea of it's popping down, popping like that, just write down. Keep writing
Yeah,
down.
exactly. It's just-
What's the popping?
For me, it's I have done this. Whatever you said, now I get the point. Every time I moved from one assignment to the other, I kind of like wrapped up my previous assignment, what I have done, what is the best moments. I got this.
This is what they call it, the exit interview.
Yeah, and I have this for the last 17 years. I have the yearly agendas. I still keep it because of that. I put my notes. So I just need to get back to and start to get all these numbers and create the wow factor, as you said, number of projects, sales
So,
volume.
and one also piece of information I want to share with you here is why I want to do it in this way. In the last page, which is page 11 of this book, of this workbook, we talk about, I believe it's page 10, we talk about communication skills. So how will you communicate this authority? One way is to communicate it through books. That's right. So you can write multiple books. For example, Mike can write books on bookkeeping for business success, tips do and don't do on taxes, tips on taxes. That's right. Financial operation manager or financial management of your business. Each one of these 3 books will need a slightly different authority to write. You cannot say I am an operational management. I empower business owner to operate their business with financial success, and you talk about bookkeeping. For bookkeeping, you need an authority rational to the bookkeeping.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
You will not be convincing. That's why when you come and say, I was doing joint venture and I'm also doing a project management and also doing a change management and I'm also doing sales, is not convincing.
Right.
You need to go to a higher abstract level, or you need to hide what's rational to this.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why I always emphasize, if you can split it in this way, this is our thinking or thought process. This is not, there is no right answer, there is no wrong answer. If you miss whatever you miss, it's you. We cannot remember. But what really I can say as observation, if you don't know how to wow your people right now, or how to wow us with what did you do in the last 4 years, you have a serious problem selling yourself. If you come and say, yeah, I have 17 dairy agenda, or I have to go back to my CRM, and there is nothing stuck in your mind right now, you will need to go back and write something which will stick in your mind to always say. Because, like, when you be...
If I was journaling all the time, and you know, and there was one year I actually did that. I was journaling, you know, what were my successes for today. If I go back and reference that, I'd probably be able to drum it up a lot. But now it's just become commonplace. It's like I go through the motions, I know what to do, and I mean, I just don't think of it as extraordinary anymore.
But
from your perspective as a new client, you might think, holy crap, no one's ever told me that. But I don't see it as that anymore. So therefore it becomes just commonplace for me.
And you know what? I cannot find words to demonstrate how much I do agree with what you said, because my most recent experience was very strange. I had this fellow, $5-10 million on the table, very interesting application in a very interesting market, and because everybody around the table are coming from sales organization, they are looking for the solution where they can sell in Q1 2019. And they went to incubators for technology, and they did not realize. And the guy, because he knows me very well, he's my mentor, so yeah. He told me, can you come and give this? And I said, yeah, I can come and do brainstorming with you guys. So what I found out is, I was always talking about a brand new platform. We bring these new technologies in, and we want to go in, and these guys will look at me as orphan, like, what? We don't know how to do this. We want to just come here. And it took me some time to realize, like, my brain for startup companies is wired in a different way, because my brain is wired, how will I get grants from the government? I don't need to sell. Mm. So what I did the last time is I said, you know what, I don't want to talk to you guys. I want just to give me 5 minutes to explain one concept. And I went to my phone. There is something called Technology Readiness Level, TRL. And this technology readiness level is one of the 3 factors the government will assess your startup company against. And from level 1, which is concept in your brain, level 9 is what? Revenue. So you are in market. And you have all of these different levels between 1 to 9. And all the government will invest in level 2 to level 3, level 4 to level 6. No investment in town other than bank loans will be at level 9, which is complete ready product to launch in the market and actually have a customer and is generating revenue. But because these people came from a sales organization, they only sell stuff, they cannot see more than 9. They cannot understand, like, why do you talk about this? Why this? Why is this artificial intelligence is important? Oh, when can we get this in market? So this is what I did. Like, it's for me as a common sense, but for these people it was not common. So when I stop and say, no, we are talking about two different animals. I'm talking about an animal where I can go to government grants, I go to incubators, I go to IBM research fund, I go here, and you guys want to sell this. So what about the following? We launch version 1 or version 2 where you can sell tomorrow, and on version 5 you will have all of this cool stuff. So the guys start to make sense to them, because I was able to articulate it. If I did not articulate it in this way, what would happen? These people will shut down. Another example is when I was standing in front of a medical research group, I was only talking about my bit exit patents and my DNA patents. I never talk about the video technology I developed. And when I was introduced as he's the sole creator and owner of this particular patent, bed exit alarm, which is now applied in 400,000 beds plus in the US. So when I stand in front of the audience, everybody was waiting to listen to me. They didn't talk about any of the other companies, anything. So just this is what they need. So to get to this stage, you need to do this. You need to understand which ones did you do in your life. So when you stand in front of a new audience, can you wow them? So along the same line for you is, out of these 200 customers, what are the type of business they were doing? Like where they were, for example, carpenter, cleaner, technology companies, retail stores,
online,
whatever they are. But once you start to look at every quarter and which customers you do, and who are they and what did you do.
But some of my accomplishments fall outside of this range now. Like, I mean, I used to help Randy McCord on his real estate investment. I used to go in and give a tax seminar, right? In 2012, I won Volunteer of the Year for the Calgary Chamber of Commerce.
So what?
But now it's outside the scope of these years.
No, you go on how many years? 17? He said 8 years. So you should go here for 16 years. And expand this to be year 1, 2, 3. That's why these are blank.
Yeah, but there's no word. Like if you say, what did you do noteworthy in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3? It's like, well.
If you do it 16 years.
I guess I'm just blending in now because I can't think of anything that I really.
If you do it here for 16 years.
Yeah.
Follow the orange pattern. This will be 16 years. Go to year 2012 and write, I won this award. Now, what else did you do in the other years? You will find yourself trying to go back per month and see what happened per month. Don't stuck into how we want to do the exercise. Look at what are the proposed outcome of the exercise. So can you write down a note of the award, of the volunteer award?
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, on 2012. Now, what else happened around 2012? How many seminars did you do for real estate investors?
5.
With Randy McCord?
Yeah. Or 5.
And why you didn't do it anymore?
I think he stopped giving the seminars.
And why you don't tailor your online training to this?
You could.
So can you write it down? This is a potential?
Okay.
Because real estate investors, usually they will have money. That's right?
Yeah.
And they will look on way to save money. So if I have a short course on saving money as a real estate investor, for $300, $500, do you think they will buy it or not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yep.
So if it's all of the outcome today, it's just we zero in that so we can switch the online courses to real estate investors focused. Is this sufficient for you? For the whole day? Is this the only outcome?
Sure.
So how did we come through this? Is by just discussing, okay, so can you explain what happened in the past?
Sure.
Do you understand how the flow will go?
No, makes absolute sense. Yeah.
So why you didn't have it?
Before,
Yeah.
slave in a big corporate.
No, I laugh when I hear these people talk about the transferable skills from a job to a job.
Right.
Okay, so what are the skills? Here, I can understand what are the skills. Here, I understand what the achievements are. All what I need to do is I had project one. This is the pain points. This is happy outcome achieved because I control the projects. That's it. Now, any projects have the same pain point will be what? Will be a good candidate for that.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, makes sense.
Any more questions? I know it's after lunch, it's always hard to wake up. People usually feel sleepy after lunch.
No, it's good. It's just, somebody like, me in the same company, same culture, just moving from one assignment to the other, you don't have even time to reflect back from one assignment to the other. Somebody has already have looked at what you have done and decided that, okay, move this guy to that place. He knows what needs to be done, right? So you don't really have time to reflect back with something.
But if I want to hire you, and the last question was, why will I pay you money? Because I don't know you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. At first, I need to get the wow out of you. That's absolutely, it makes sense. It makes sense. I'm just reflecting this on me. If I want to hire a contractor or a consultant or, go and see a doctor or whatever, I need to say wow.
So if you are a consultant, or if you want to position yourself as a consultant, there is something called previous, what's it called, Mike? Previous projects or previous work or portfolios.
Portfolios. Okay.
So when I hire a consultant in a very organized way, a consultant usually will come up with a portfolio of previous work.
Right.
So I will go there and see what they did. So if it happens that somebody opens this portfolio, because most likely nobody will open it, but if somebody, they need to see these different projects, preferably a testimonials, and you are always allowed to do what? To blank some numbers and some names for privacy, is it right?
Right.
So I don't say I can say I work for company A, and the company A has these problems, and here is the outcomes, and I can have a testimonial. And I can reveal the information if you need to. Does this make sense?
Yep. Very good.
Okay. So do you want to spend more time extracting your history, or you want to move to the next level?
I want about 10 minutes to start
Okay.
jotting down some ideas.
Sure. So let's just have 10 minutes.
Alright.
You can write down some ideas. If you are bored, I recommend you bring a drink or a coffee. And yeah, so let's just reconvene in 10 minutes. Let's go refill my water. Because remember, the idea of this workshop is at the end of the day, you walk away with a seed or with full information or with a seed that you can close down this particular part. Because this is part of the blueprint of your business.
Right.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.